Today I'm doing a tutorial on multiband compression. So I'm going to be using Wave's C6 plugin, but if you're using any other multiband compressor, that's fine. What I'm going to be talking about will apply to any other plugin. I'm talking about principles and techniques and how I like to use multiband compression and what instruments I like to use it on. So it doesn't matter what plugin you're using, you can still apply these techniques. All right, so I'm going to actually forego my usual intro video and all that stuff because we got a lot to talk about. Alright, so what is multiband compression? Well, first of all, I'm assuming you do know what compression is, and if you don't, then you're going to need to check out some other tutorials first so you can follow along. I don't have a compression tutorial, but there's about 5 billion of them out there, so check those out and come back, alright? So now that you know what compression is, let's talk about multiband compression. So that is just compression to a fixed range of frequencies, right? So this is the C6. It has 6 bands. Now there's a C4 as well that has these 4 ranges here. And the C6 adds these 2 ranges on the outside. These 2 bands on the outside, which are actually really awesome because you can see they can travel the full spectrum. But the 4 main bands, they have these crossovers in between them that determine where the band begins and ends. All right, so you can see here that I can change how large I want the band to be, how many frequencies I want affected in each band. And then I have Q controls as well. And so each one of these is a compressor that just compresses each one of these bands right here, right? And so you may already be using multiband compression and not know it. If you're doing de-essing, that's kind of a form of multiband compression because it targets that range where the sibilance is, right? So that's like 5K to 7K. It targets that range. You set the threshold for it, and then when someone hits an S or a T or something, it spikes up, it hits that threshold, and then compression happens. All right, so this is an acoustic track I brought in. If you're familiar at all with my music channel, then you know we do a lot of acoustic covers, and so this is our cover of Say Something. I really am pretty proud of this one. And it's great for this video because the guitar is nothing at all like the actual track. So I can use it license free. Haha. So that is a finger-picked guitar. It was in a very quick thrown together bedroom studio years and years ago with not a fantastic mic, and it was mic'd at the bridge position. You can hear a lot of low mids and a lot of boominess. So first thing I'm going to want to do is address that. So what I like to do is just determine kind of where my crossovers are going to be first. So I will be putting these ranges or these bands into solo and kind of listening to them and adjusting where they go. So kind of what I'm going for here is I want my lowest range to be just the super lows, and then my second one, my second band to be low mids, kind of where I hear the problem. And I don't want it to get into kind of the range where a lot of the attack on the strings is, because that is going to have a different attack speed on the compressor. It's going to have a lower attack speed so that some of that attack on the transient comes through, whereas this, the low mid stuff, it's going to have a faster attack because it doesn't have any of that really transients. And if you're not sure what a transient is, this is going to be a transient. Let's see if I can make that bigger for you guys. Let's move this. So I mean, this is going to be a transient. It's really pronounced in percussion instruments, but in order for the articulation and attack, I mean, this is the best way to say it, to come through, is you want this very front edge, what's called the transient, to come through before the compressor clamps down on it. So with lower frequencies, they don't have that, so it's going to have a faster attack rate. So I kind of have my ranges set, my bands, where I want them to be. This high band I may not even do anything with, or it's actually this guy. I may not do anything with, it's just kind of the air band. So you can start out, you'll see in each compressor you have your normal compressor parameters, right? So you have the threshold, that's right here. You have the gain, so you can just kind of treat it like an EQ if you want and just increase or reduce gain. And the C6 and the C4, they're super intuitive visually. I really like what they did visually. You can see with this line exactly what's going on. So this is the range, which you can think of like the ratio, right? So once the audio hits the threshold, it's going to reduce by the range amount. And then of course you have the attack speed, how quickly it's going to reduce, and then the release, how quickly after it starts to reduce is it going to release, is it going to stop reducing the volume. So let's hear how it sounds. I'm just going to tweak the low and the low mids and see if I can get those under control. So again, on the lower frequencies, I want a faster attack time. Typically, I'm going to be doing something below 10 milliseconds. And then a slower release so that it's holding it steady for longer. I mean, you can already hear that that's kind of making things more consistent. So yeah, it is reducing, but it's also, some of those notes that really stick out and kind of poke you in the eye, they're held in place better. And I really haven't done a whole lot. So let's go ahead up here to kind of where I want the attack to come from, and let's mess with that. So that sounds pretty good. I could tell as I started to kind of bring that attack rate up that a lot more of that string noise was coming through, giving it more articulation. And again, it's got a fast release on it because you want the compressor to get out of the way for the next hit on the string. And then of course I just brought that band up a little bit. Yeah, so that's better already, but there's still some kind of nasty stuff in here. You can hear that third bass note, what I think was a C sharp. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. It kind of still really jumps out. So that's why I like the C6, is it has these bands here that I can put anywhere and reduce just a very narrow band. So, and again, this is where multi-band compression really shines for me, because I like that thickness of the guitar, so I don't want to just put a static EQ on it and just pull it down for the whole song or for a whole part. I just want, when that one thing pokes out, for it to be kind of pulled back and kept under control. So let's find where that low kind of C sharp, what I think is a C sharp, let's find where that is. So there's where it is in the song. Let's just put that on loop. So I think that 130 range right there is where it sounds like it is. I'm gonna bring the EQ actually out just or the Q out just a little bit. And since this is a note that's just kind of popping out, I'm going to set the threshold higher, but then I'm going to do a bigger range. That way when it does hit that threshold, it's really going to clamp down on it. And then again, a faster attack and slower release. Let's do something around there. Again, if you're doing a full mix, you're going to take your time. A little bit more on this, but yeah, so you can see right here where it's working. Let's put it in context. Yeah, so that's sounding better. It actually looks like it's hitting that second note, which is actually kind of a dead note on my acoustic. You can, like I said, just kind of hear it thumping, but I like what it's doing. I like how it's sounding. All right, so let's A/B it. Let's see how it sounds. Obviously, all that compression, the reduction is bringing the overall volume down. So let's give it a few decibels to compensate. Yeah, so not perfect, but for doing it in, I don't know, a couple minutes, pretty happy with it. Definitely an improvement. So I encourage you guys to check this song out. I'll leave a link at the end, but let's check this out. Another thing I really like to use a C6 on is toms. So I'm going to open up another session and let's check that out. Okay, so this is our original song called This Is War. I use C6 multi-band compression quite a bit with this song. I actually really like it on the toms. I'm just going to kind of let you listen to the intro a little bit, and then we're going to listen to the toms. So that was kind of the intro, a little bit of the song. So let's isolate these toms here and see what we got. All right. So I have the C6 on, I have a bunch of stuff bypassed. I guess I tried it, didn't like it. So this EQ just doing a high pass, C6. I got a bunch of stuff going on. Let's actually let's bypass it and start over and see what we can do. So one thing about the C6 plugin, and probably a lot of other plugins out there, is they have some pretty decent presets. So let's just hear what it sounds like with nothing. So it's not bad at all. It's actually a sample of the drummer's drum kit that he was playing for the song. So after we were done tracking the full performance, I had him go back and play each drum, and I sampled it. It eases the conscience a little bit when you're replacing drums, when you actually have the real drummer playing the real drums, and you're just sampling those. So let's check. Let's see what they got. All right, so this is a rack tom. Let's try rack tom A. Let's see how it sounds. So I mean, that's kind of already an improvement, I feel like. It sounds pretty good. So we're gonna use these arrows and try out some of the other presets. Well, that's a little too much on that one. That's for a floor tom. So I kind of liked A. So this is a good starting point, right? You can find something that you like, find a preset, and then kind of tweak on it, right? So I think their attack times are a lot too quick. So let's bring those attacks up. So that one's getting the really high slap on it. So if you're doing some metal or something, or even this, which is more hard rock, this is good for cutting through the mix. That sounds like it's hitting a little harder now that I have the attack speeds turned up a little bit, or turned slower now. Also, anytime you're using a preset, You know, the thresholds are set arbitrarily. They don't know how loud your wave is going to be, so always look at tweaking those. See here, they're just boosting this and they have no range at all, so it's not reducing. It's interesting. So that's keeping what's probably close to the fundamental. It's keeping it out there a little bit longer, so you can hear it. It's sustaining a little bit longer. So let's just kind of A/B it, see what we got. Yeah, you can hear that low mid part really there where the resonance is dies a lot faster when it's bypassed. So that gives it quite a bit more attack and then lets it ring out a little bit longer. So let's hear it in context. Yeah, so that super high end on the attack by itself, maybe you don't like it, but in the mix it really helps it cut through. Alright, so another place that I really like to use it is on the vocals. I find it's really effective in evening them out. So here you can see my main vocal track. It's got quite a bit going on. Let's see what I'm doing here. 7 days and 7 nights you made us. 7 days and 7 nights you made us. Yeah, so it's really boosting a lot of the high end, giving it a lot more presence. And really, I feel like evening it out quite a bit more. 7 days and 7 nights you made us. Took from dust and breathed life into his being. Definitely makes it sound a lot more exciting. Makes it stand on top a lot. Again, it's that presence that's really doing it. That's around the 3K range, and here it's doing that. So there you go, guys. That's my tutorial on multiband compression. If you have any questions, please let me know. As always, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Gonna have another video coming out next Thursday. Be on the lookout for that. Till then, check out my music channel or check out some more gear. See you next time.